Warning: the following program contains world premier certified ball players, incredible interviews, latest, hottest content material, may not be suitable for people with the following medical condition: original phobia, acute player hater disorder, no jumper, no handles, allergic to playing defense. If you suffer from any of these conditions, contact your coaching staff.
3 minutes to go.
Give it up, get it back, and make a poster.
Welcome to License to Ball podcast, where certified ballers play. And now here's your host, Hip Hop.
Well, welcome everybody to the License to Ball podcast. Got on deck, we got the basketball preseason catch-up on deck, man. We got Kyle Randall joining the show today, man. He's going to be hitting us up. We got some pretty good stuff going on, man. Catch up on stuff we're going to be catching up on. Y'all going to be catching up on, man. We got AJ, the #1 player in the country. Talk about his deal, his multi-million-dollar deal. Got the Boozer twins committing. Talk about that. Break that down. The new floor over at University of Kentucky. That's lit, man. That's literally, I got a lot to say about that, man. I got a lot to say about that. And then St. John's beating a top 25 team. And I know it's preseason, but I got a lot to talk about that too as well, man. And Illinois being snubbed in preseason top 25, man. And new rosters on that. So that's what we got going on today, man. And we've been gone for about a week and a half, but we got another one for you, man. This one should be a banger. A lot of high content. They're going to be one of the hottest rated shows we had in a long time, man. I can see that coming on that. But further delay, we're going to introduce. Let me turn down this volume a little bit. I can hear myself in the background a little bit too much. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and cue up and bring in the introduction for Kyle Randall.
So I don't get fined. So y'all can sit here and ask me all the questions y'all want to. I'm going to answer with the same answer, so y'all can shoot if y'all please. I'm here so I won't get fined. I'm here so I won't get fined.
What's going on, Kyle?
How you doing, Hip Hop?
I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. Going in there, man. Just that camera for me a little bit, man. Bring it down a little bit for me. There you go. What's new with you?
Nothing much. Just been, trying to focus on more things internally, mentally, spiritually, trying to get myself together, develop my schedule for the season coming up here. Got a big time JUCO team I'm going to see here within the next week or two to start off the season. So, just getting ready to tip off this season and trying to make sure I'm right mentally and spiritually before I get to the grind. In this business, it's a lot of late nights and early mornings when you're trying to find out news and trying to create content. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm right internally first.
That make a lot of sense to me. And so what we're going to do now, we're going to go right into AJ, man. His deal. There we go. We're going to talk about him, man. They said his deal's reportedly worth $7 million and up. What's your take on that? Oh, I lost you.
You still got me
I don't know
there?
where Kyle went. We lost Kyle, y'all.
You still got me there?
Yeah, I see you now. Yeah, we lost you for a second. So yeah, we just saying, man, this deal with AJ, $7 million and up reportedly, and they saying the leader in that is BYU because they got all that church money on that, man. So what's your take on this?
Okay, so just so the high school basketball world know, uh, as I come back into the basketball scene, I'm still gaining more and more knowledge. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the most knowledgeable person. But what I can say is he recently took visits to Kansas State and BYU. And so in terms of what I feel BYU is most likely a top 2 program on where he will end up. If you take a look at JJ Mandaquit, he plays for Utah Prep with AJ Dybantsa, so I'm not sure if they're trying to put together a package deal. They both actually play for the USA team, so you know it's going to be interesting. JJ Mandaquit is the point guard for Utah Prep, and Dybantsa is the #1 player in the country. So, you know, just seeing where AJ Dybantsa could end up, I think BYU will end up being a top 2 school. And it's going to come down to I believe it's going to come down to being able to play in a great conference and being able to recuperate the to actually bring in the right amount of funds NIL wise. When I look at the schools that's in this top, it looks like it's going to come down to NIL. Kansas State, they're a team that competes for the Sweet 16, but they've never been a team that has competed for the Final Four. So with that being said, I don't think it's going to come down to where he can compete for a national title at. I think it's going to come down to the money, being completely honest.
It's funny you say that because Kansas stole our man from Illinois. Man, what's the guy? Coleman Hawkins. I don't know why I forgot his name for a second. Coleman Hawkins, he reported he signed for $1 million deal to go to Kansas State. So that's kind of making sense. Kansas really throwing some money out.
$2 million.
I can't hear nothing you saying, me. See, what you say now?
Yeah, Coleman Hawkins is planning to get $2 million at Kansas State.
Oh, my fault. So they throwing some money around. I don't know where the money coming from, but they throwing some money around. And like one of the things they doing now with the money is they doing NIL tournaments at the beginning of the season to fundraise to play these players. I don't know if you heard about that. They got them in Vegas.
Hip hop.
Yep.
Hip hop.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You cutting out very badly.
Oh, okay. I think that's the cell phone connection, but I can hear you good and I can hear myself good through here. So it's probably from the cell phone connection on that. But me ask you this, how you feel about players getting paid this kind of money and this large amount of money? Actually, more money than some players in the league minimum. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm making sure I get in a better connection area.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you clearer now.
All right, that's what. But no, what I was saying is, how do you feel about these players, the top-ranked players, getting this much money in college? Again, making more than league minimum, man. I was saying, how you feel about that?
You said.
Mm-hmm.
You said, how do I feel about these players getting prime time money?
Yep.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
I mean, I honestly, I'm not against it. What I can say is this. I'm not sure if you know who Inky Johnson is. Do you know who Inky Johnson is?
No, I don't.
He played college football at Tennessee. He got paralyzed and his arm is very he basically has a very vulnerable arm now. His arm is he got paralyzed. So Inky Johnson, he gives motivational speeches. What I can say is, if you look back, see hip hop, you and I, we are a part of the mixtape era when it first began. When the mixtape era first started, we are a part of that era. I'm blessed to say that I am a part of the beginning of the mixtape era back in 2010, 20 through 2013, 2009 through 2013. With that being said, a lot of those players back then didn't have the resources of being able to watch videos on the internet to help grow and improve their game. A lot of things had to be taught within the gym. A lot of things had to be learned within where you were from or where you lived. These kids now, they have more access and they have more tools, and that's a good thing because it shows that the game itself is growing. Anything over time, technology advances. Everything, not even technology, everything is in life is supposed to advance over time. So the players back when the mixtape era first started, not being able to receive NIL, I believe, had that been the case of them being able to receive NIL, players would have played with much more of an edge. Players would have took the game much more serious, in which they already took it serious because of the lack of resources. Whereas now, because there are more resources, there is more money, these kids now, they don't value the game as much as the kids in the early 2000s did. The value of the game has decreased. However, I am not against college players getting paid, because these colleges are receiving millions and millions and millions of dollars just from these players going to play at their schools and making the Final Four and winning the conference tournament and winning the regular season conference. So with that being said, I'm not against it. But I do personally feel with playing in the G League, I feel the minimum you should be able to make while playing in the G League is $250,000.
Yep. The problem with the G League is they don't have the fandom like college do. So they could generate their revenue, and college be able to pay those players. So like college is fighting with the pros, and really college killing the G League. Really. Because they got to do something. They don't have enough sponsors to really pay those players like that. We're going to move on, man. We're going to... What you say now?
That is completely true.
Because college going to protect their investment. So we're going to go on to the next segment, man. We're going to come up and we're going to talk about those Boozer twins, man. I like this image right here of them. Like, a lot of people see this image and they might not know, like, unless you're a hardcore Boozer fan or a Duke fan, watching this image right here, that's their mom right there. And a lot of people want to give Carlos a lot of credit for their basketball, but she runs their basketball. I forgot her name. But Miss Boozer runs their basketball, and she's in this picture with them in these Duke uniforms, dressed. A lot of people didn't pick up on it. I saw it. I didn't realize who I was looking to see who it was. I thought it was like somebody on the staff with her, but I was like, no, that's their mom. So, man, what's your take on them committing to Duke? I called this 2 years ago.
Yes, on them committing to Duke.
Yep.
Give me a quick second, Hip. I want to make sure I'm on point. Give me a quick second.
All right.
So with this being said, they're scheduled to play AJ Dybantsa here in the next few hours.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're playing AJ Dybantsa in the showcase. But as I look, they're actually the only two players committed to Duke in the senior class. I don't have much to say. I really don't. I watched them play one game, and that was the Peach Jam Championship. I haven't really been too understanding of the Boozer twins. What I do know is, what I can tell you is, Duke has to make the Final Four within the next 2 years.
Yep. I agree with you.
The reason I say that is because John Shire will be on the hot seat.
Yep.
Meaning, believe it or not, I'm not saying Calipari was on the hot seat, but what I'm saying is, if you're bringing in top 5 recruits every year, but you're failing to even make the Elite 8, you're lacking something within the program.
Yep. I'm gonna say this on that. I'm gonna piggyback on what you were saying. He got a job that he had no business getting. One of the premier programs in the country, and you get that program and you take it over because you daddy's boy. You the son that he never had. You get that job and you take it over, and you haven't done nothing, and you wasn't experienced enough to do it. And it's kind of funny you said this, because word on the street was I was told that one reason why the Boozers wasn't a lot to go there, because how they passed over so many other coaches was alumni that's coaching is well qualified for that job, and some of them were black, and they seen that, so they had an uphill battle to convince them to go there. But I still thought they was going there because Coach K is at kryptonite. He come in and sell that lie to them. My personal opinion, because I heard some other stuff from players that I covered told me stuff that Coach K has said to them, and they knew it was cap at the time. But so he just kryptonite for them. So I know he's gonna go there in the first place. But the media really don't go after him real hard, because they do. You know, the fan base really don't go after them really hard. But in 2 years, the skirt gonna be off. You're gonna have to, the mask gonna be off, or you're gonna look at it, and then you're gonna have to come clean on this, that he's not the man. He's not the man for the job at all. I don't think he is. If you give him 10 years and let him growing pains, which would be unfair to any other coach, then he might be ready. But I don't think so, man. I don't know if you want to.
I'll say this. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to make some people mad, but I'm going to say it. The recruiting trail at this point is all smoke and mirrors. It's all bullshit. The reason I'm saying this is because you can build a Final Four program through transfers.
Yep.
High school recruiting, the value of high school recruiting is going to go down more and more and more every year.
Yep.
If you look at programs like the University of Illinois, you look at how Mark Pope has came into Kentucky, and now they're stated to be arguably the best shooting team in college basketball this upcoming season. you look at these programs, and now with the new rule of you can play immediately, I'm more interested in the transfer portal than I am in high school recruiting.
Yep. I'm gonna say something else on that. That these lot of players not getting the memo. The minor league system for college basketball is mid-major. So if you're not a top 50 player, or I back it up, I even say top 100, but guaranteed top 50, you might as go and jump on that mid-major right away. Develop your skills. It's actually gonna make you more money because they're gonna pay you then. And then the second or third year, you're gonna really get to eat in one of these blue chips, top 25 programs. If you really see it, it's kind of going that way now, but the players really don't see the writing on the wall. They still trying to go to Duke and all that. You need to just jump in a real good mid-major, get your money, develop. You could even get more money, and then you could be a lottery pick. What you got to say about that?
I concur. I concur with that. I look at a kid named Chucky Love who plays over at La Lumiere Prep, one of the top 20 prep schools in the country. He's a top 100 player. He's going to play over at Loyola Chicago next year. He's a top 100 player.
Yep.
Then there's a kid who's a top 100 player who just committed to Northwestern last week, and he picked Northwestern over all high majors. And Northwestern is in a high major conference, but they're technically a mid major.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I completely concur with what you are saying.
Because we got a kid out of Atlanta named Josh Hill, 6'10", real good player. He was the first 4-star player that Arkansas State ever got in their history. And usually, you go back 5 years ago, guaranteed 10 years ago, a 4-star player would not be going to Arkansas State. It'd be going to one of these high major conferences. They didn't even really check for him like that on the recruiting trail. On that. But man, we're gonna go ahead and move on and talk about Kentucky. You brought up Kentucky. All the stuff kind of intertwined what we were saying, because we talk about Kentucky, you talking about the new Kentucky coach. He's about to show and embarrass Coach K. I mean, not Coach K. What's his name? In Arkansas. Not Coach K though, but Calipari. And he gonna Coach Cal. I know he got a short name for it. Coach Cal and Shire. They're going after these top recruits, and he just building a good program, and he gonna do better than they are. Like Shire, I don't know why he's going after these top name players, and he just should be just building a good program, especially young. But he listened to Coach K because Coach K still really coaching the team. He's not doing the day-to-day operations. He's answering to him. That's word on the street.
You remember the Butler kid from San Diego State that hit the game winner in the Final Four to go to the championship?
Uh-huh.
He transferred to Kentucky.
That's experience too. On that. So we're gonna break this down in a little bit in segments. We're gonna play this new floor, and I got a lot to say about this too. So we're going to cue this up. Let me see here. Where that video one? Yeah, it's on too. So it should be playing with audio. Oh, you know what? I forgot we had video on the Boozer twins, but that's not even what I need to be queuing up right here when we was talking about the Boozer twins. But that's the wrong video. Yeah, that's the wrong one. me find that. I need to find that video for the floor. There we go. I forgot that. I can't believe I forgot I had that video, man. On the Booster Twin, I totally forgot. Let me find this floor. I don't know why it's not showing on here. I just let me do that now, see if it's showing. That video is not showing. I don't know why it's not showing on here because I'm picking it and it's not coming up. Let me do that right there. See that? It still ain't showing up. I can't get that to play, man. That's crazy. Let me see what that saved on. Hold on a second. Yeah, I don't know why that's not playing. Let me go and do that. Hold on. Let me play it through here.
Mark Pope calls Big Blue Madness one of the great spectacles in all of sports. But this year, with so much new already surrounding Kentucky basketball, UK has partnered with a cutting-edge organization with the goal of turning madness into something even more spectacular.
I see this basically as the court of the future.
The court of the future technically already arrived in Lexington. It's known as the LumaFlex. It's the world's first full LED court made of glass.
It's a fan experience first and foremost. One, they've never seen an LED floor of this size, right?
The court itself is made up of more than 200 individual panels pieced together in this way with player safety in mind. You see the filling between each panel. That's silicone designed to put a little bit of cushion in between the glass. You see these tiny microscopic dots. That's designed to be slip resistant and give the players a little bit more traction on the court.
They're questioning, like, how am I going to be jumping on glass? Is it going to break? That's the first kind of question we get. But glass is actually a harder surface than wood. FIBA has approved this as a certified playing surface. It is safe. No player has ever gotten hurt on this floor.
Yes, this court is going to look awesome. For the fans up top in the nosebleed.
All right, man. You want me to go first on this new floor? Or you want to go first?
Go ahead.
All right, on the floor. One thing. Listen to it again. She said it's harder than wood. I don't know. But I know when you play outside on concrete, you can't jump. For me, I couldn't jump as high I can on wood floors because wood floors have a little bit of spring. So I think that might take a little bit of, because concrete absorbs a lot of your jump when you jump. On that, you got to be really, if you're explosive on concrete, man, you're going to be nasty on the court, man, on that. But I can see this thing revolutionizing basketball in so many ways and make the fan experience is so much better because you can work it with your own smart devices at home back and forth. And you probably do things on smart devices which can make interacting with social media and betting. I can see it on that. And then I can see a lot of stuff they would, with this, how this court set up. I can see the recruits when they come in, how they introduce them in the starting lineup, when the recruits come in and do what we're doing the game, show all the stuff, man. You could do, it's just like, far as the eye, not far as the eye, what's the word I'm looking for? Man, I'm lost for words, but you can imagine far as you can imagine much as you want to do on this, man. You just do so much on this. And everybody let Kentucky beat them to this, man. That's what's crazy about this.
Well, it looks like Mark Pope is
I feel he has, because he played at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's going to take winning. It's going to take winning, of course. But I feel he's going to bring together the Kentucky culture. He's going to bring together an entire different culture and an entire and a stronger. What I mean is he's going to transcend the culture, and he's going to bring together an entire different form of unity amongst Kentucky basketball, just because of him being a player at Kentucky and him being able to bring in 5 stars like Jasper Johnson. And, there's another 5-star Kentucky most likely is going to get. I believe he's a point guard. And, if Mark Pope lands this guard, this is, regardless, the high school recruiting trail is overhyped at this point. The reason being is because the transfer portal right away. But it's going to show that Kentucky can still land 5-star out Calipari. When I watched their Midnight Madness, like I said, winning. However, the Midnight Madness didn't have the best turnout.
Yeah, because it's more steak than sizzle. Calipari's more sizzle than steak. That's why. But they gonna come back. They so disgusted because they ain't got no high, they ain't got no boozer there. They ain't got what to do. That dude just came and do. They got these top dudes. They got AJ coming, all that stuff. So that's what they've been used to. And that don't win national championships. And that has shown, really, you look at it the past 20 years that they've been doing this, the team's been winning national championship and leading with veteran leadership with some sprinkling in young players.
Exactly. And I noticed the turnout for the Midnight Madness because every year when Calipari was there, it looked like it was sold out.
Yep. But they weren't doing nothing. So I'm gonna play the second. I'm gonna go ahead and play the second part of this video, the coaching standpoint on this floor.
It's going to be fun for the players to interact with during the event, but it can also be beneficial for the people sitting here in these seats, the coaching staff.
The coaches are going to have tools where they can help tell the players where they need to be on the court. They can do their X's and O's on an iPad, which automatically shows up on the floor, almost like a giant whiteboard.
Scout your teams, run plays based on what your teams are playing. You can run skills, the different skill sets. The coach can basically take an iPad and draw everything on the court. Those are things that make a big difference in terms of how players play and how players learn and how players are taught.
It can also look like a normal court if that's what you want. If you want it to look like old-fashioned hardwood,
Yeah, so that's dope right there. That's a home field advantage or home court advantage, should I say. When you could have the court itself is a clipboard.
The player
on that, so that's dope. Now, question I want to know on this is the visiting team going to be able to do the same thing the home team does with the clipboard on the iPad, where you could draw literally on the court and draw the plays on timeouts and stuff like that? I didn't hear that in this video. I was curious about that.
Now, is this court permanent? Meaning this is their court every game, every home game?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Yeah, it's going to be permanent as far as my understanding.
I'm going to say this. By the end of the season, Kentucky will land a Caden Lewis. If a Caden Lewis doesn't go to Kentucky, it's because of NIL. A Caden Lewis is the 6'3" guard from DC that got cut from the team his 7th and 8th grade year. He got cut from his basketball team. He's now one of the top 25 players in the country. He goes to Sidwell Friends, who comes to Chicago about every year to play the top public league school in Chicago every year.
That's what's up. That's a nice hot take right there, man. Now let's go. We're gonna hop in. We're gonna go ahead and talk about this Rutgers charity preseason game going against St. John's, one of the godfathers of basketball coaching, Rick Pitino. Yeah, they didn't look so hot, man. You should, at a home, I don't care if this is a preseason game and you at home, you should not lose by 20, man. That's one thing that should not happen. What's your take on this game, man? You there?
Yeah, they didn't lose by 20, Hip.
I thought it was 89 to 60.
Hip.
Yeah, I'm here.
No, it was 91. It was 91 to 85.
Oh, 91 to 85. I'm sorry, I lost by 6. I misunderstood that. I thought it was 20. I thought it was like 90 to 60. But you still shouldn't lose a home game. Even this preseason, you should still lose no home game like that, man. And then how tightly you in a power conference. You shouldn't lose if you're in a power conference like that against St. John's. St. John's is a classic, solid mid-major school, man. On that. You still there?
Put together with transfers.
What you say now?
Yes, they were put together with transfers.
There you go again.
Put together with new recruits and transfers.
He know how to put together a team, though. He know how to build a team. Rick Pitino, he know how to build a team. That's what I like about him. He's a great coach. No, you can't not. He just got caught doing what they allowed to do now, which is crazy. A lot of stuff he was doing, reason why he wasn't in Louisville no more, because now you're legally allowed to do it now. On that. But they had no business losing to them at home like that. Even as a preseason game, I think you can't really look too much into this, because I think this loss and win gonna help out this loss gonna help out Rutgers. It's gonna shake them up like throwing water in their face. It's gonna get them right to realize they ain't good as they think they are. And I think it's gonna give a lot of confidence to St. John's that they got a good team this year. What you think about that?
Well, you know, I'm going to tell you this, Hip. Rutgers did lose their big man. He transferred.
Mm-hmm.
Amori. However, they're ranked in the top 25 because they have 2 top 5 players on their team.
Yeah, okay. So you got some household names.
Cut answer.
Okay.
Ace Bailey is going to end the season potentially being the #1 draft pick. I don't care what anyone has to say about Cooper Flagg or anybody from overseas. Ace Bailey is going to make a statement this year, and he's going to potentially go #1.
Yep. Only reason why I
Detroit Pistons, you get a team like the Detroit Pistons who desperately need a star. Ace Bailey will most likely go to the Pistons over Cooper Flagg.
And I'm
you
saying
stole
this
my
because the
thoughts.
Pistons is my favorite team.
See, when you got the number one pick, it just don't go down to the best player. It's who fits in your system and how you can market them. I think it's easy to market Ace Bailey over Cooper Flag in the D. I think it's go way better having Ace Bailey. And I think Ace Bailey is one of the best players. Arguably, he's the best player in his class to me. Oh no, but I can see that. I can see that because like you just have to see how we had to keep an update on that and see how the picks gonna fall and all that. Because certain players don't fit in certain areas, you know. So D gotta have a certain type of player.
I can most definitely. I will say this: if the Pistons don't get number one, and let's say the Portland Trail Blazers get number one, they're most likely going to pick Ace Bailey over Cooper Flag.
Portland Trailblazers?
Yes.
I see Portland Trailblazers drafting Cooper Flag. He fit better their marketability than Portland.
I'm going to say why I say Ace Bailey. It's because of the connection with Scoot Henderson being from Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Either way, Scoot gonna get him some help.
And the coach being Chauncey Billups, I feel Chauncey would much more prefer a player who carries an edge on them to themselves over a player who may have more talent.
That makes sense. But you remember when we was talking about Ace Bailey this time last year when they had him like around 25 or 30 around that, and then he had to go to that Stephon Curry camp, and all of a sudden they say he in the top 3. What we already saying. So skill wise, he gonna get to put it on display. He in one of the biggest conference in America, arguably the best conference in America, top to bottom, really, from the East Coast to the West Coast.
This is where I'm coming from. Who has more pressure on them though to win? Who has more pressure to win? Duke or Rutgers?
Duke. Yep.
Exactly. So Cooper Flag has to play within the system John Shire wants him to play in order to win. As for Ace Bailey will have the ability to showcase all of his abilities without any restraints or restrictions at a lower cost than Cooper Flag.
I feel you on that. That makes sense. Make total sense, man. I can't knock that at all. That's one reason why Ace Bailey went there, because he's gonna be able to showcase his skills. That's why he went. One reason why he chose that. And NIL didn't hurt at all. And then this boy Harper coming in with him and didn't hurt at all either, man. So you telling me it's the worst kept secret in America that preseason rankings based on your recruitment. So that explains why Illinois is not in the preseason top 25, you'll say, huh?
I'm going to say it comes down to 5-star players, because Illinois finished the season top 15 in the transfer portal. They went into this season top 15 in the transfer portal, and they finished the high school recruiting trail top 10 in the country. So it comes down to 5-star players. It has nothing to do with the balance of your recruiting. It's more about how many 5 stars did they get? How many 5 stars did they get? How many, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I
sound like marketing.
That's not just because
on that makes sense. That makes total sense on that. And here's the crazy thing. And Illinois finished the season in the final 8 getting beat by the national champions. And they can't even make the top 25 preseason. any team like Duke would have got an edge into the top 25 just because they named. Kansas would have got an edge if they're the same boat they were in. Kentucky too, North Carolina, all these schools, they would have got an edge into the top 25 if they're in the same situation that Illinois is in. On that. But that make a lot of sense, man. Before we get up out of here, man, let's touch on something just happened, kind of hot off the press a little bit. It's new how the NCAA added more scholarships, players to the Division I basketball.
Yeah, so there are now 724 scholarships now available starting the 2025-2026 season, 724. That means there's 2 extra scholarships for each school, 362 schools. So with that being said, it went from 13 to 15. It was at a point where about 2 players were walk-ons, 13 were on scholarships. So that's, you know, like I said, over time, things are supposed to improve. Things are supposed to get better. So like I said, you young kids, if you're a youngster watching this, you guys have to be grateful and value the game more, because during the time me and hip hop developed our name, 2009 through 2013, during that time frame, there were only 13 scholarships. So you guys have, you have the New Balance circuit. You got a Puma circuit. You got an Under Armour circuit. You got all these circuits. What they're going to bring back the Reebok circuit next? You got.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I look at it this way. It's going back to the basics. Enhance back to the basics. And what I mean by that is when you add on 15 scholarships, they don't really play, most teams really don't play 8 players. So this is going to go back to the basics, and it's going to expose these coaches that we thought is real good at coaching. Not me and you, but these people that people don't know. You're going to have these no-name coaches start winning a lot. And what I mean by that is this going to show coaching. They're going to use those new 2 extra scholarship where coaches know what they're doing. They're going to get a player that got playing, got a lot of potential, and going to be happy to be there, and they can develop them for 2 years. They're going to be, man, I'm so glad to go to Kentucky or whatever. Nobody else will recruit me in this level, but you got the size, you got the potential, you just got to develop. And these programs who develop players, they're going to use 2 scholarships for players that they ain't going to have to fight for. And when they're ready to play, they're going to be some monsters, man. That's my personal opinion. I can see that doing that. The rich going to get richer. Who know how to do this?
Those D2 kids with great attitudes.
Yep. I can see that coming, man. You got 2 more scholarships to play with, and those 2 they usually don't play anyway. So they're gonna use those 2 scholarships for development and scholarships.
And what does that come down to, though, Hip? That comes down to valuing the game, valuing what you have, being grateful. All that falls in line of you being able to play on that next level. All you have to do is value the game. Make sure you're prepping for the game the right way. Make sure you're putting in the late hours, the after hours, the unseen hours. Make sure you're taking care of your schoolwork. Make sure you're grateful for your family and your parents who driving 3, 4, 5 hours to the games and spending $60 a weekend just to get into the tournament for 2 days and spending $300, being grateful and having those values. That's where that's going to fall in place on getting onto a Division I roster, and then being a role player by your junior year and potentially turning into a a role-playing star by your senior year.
Yep. And they still gonna get paid too. They're just not gonna get paid top dollar. They're gonna get something. Cause they pay everybody now. You're just gonna get something. I don't know what it's gonna be, but you're gonna get something. Man, I think this show right here, man, is one of the best shows we have done in years. One of our best podcasts we had done in years, because the content and what we're talking about, I think it's lit. And everybody who's watching this show, if you're not real familiar with what we do, some of the errors on my part, you understand, all the back scene, putting all this stuff together, and you're doing your homework, and you're moving stuff around fast. So like, man, like, how can you get that? If you see what I got to do to get a podcast together and do all this, man, you understand. Like, you watch these ESPN, Sports Center, they got people do the homework for them. They put the sheet in front of them or put the teleprompter right there and they just read it. They just got to show up at a certain time.
I want to make an announcement.
Go ahead.
I want to make an announcement on our first podcast together. This is our first podcast together, so we only going to get better with time. But with the help that hip hop has given me and hip hop have a relationship outside of basketball. And with this being said, as I heal mentally and spiritually, I'm going through something. I'm really going through something right now. I will be relocating to Atlanta, Georgia, once I heal and I get everything together. So, top floor lobby, as you see right here, top floor lobby, and Gymratinsider will keep the relationship alive for years to come. And I want to thank everybody who tuning in. And if you wanna tune into Top Floor Lobby this season, just follow me on Twitter. It's not my personal page; it's actually the brand page. Top Floor Lobby. Top Floor Lobby. A lot of athletes, a lot of current athletes, a lot of former athletes, and a lot of coaches are connected to the brand. As hip hop wouldn't have a relationship with me if I wasn't of value, and I wouldn't have a relationship with hip hop if he wasn't of value. So I want to let y'all know, Gymratinsider and Top Floor Lobby, we will be keeping the relationship alive, and y'all be in tune in the next few weeks for those news and those stories coming on Gymratinsider.org.
Now, if y'all didn't know, he an MC as well. I ain't got to say no more than that, and just like and subscribe and share this and tell a friend, man. And if y'all watch this all the way to the end, you must like it. So please like and subscribe and share and retweet and repost and leave your comments, man. That's real critical for us, man. That's one of the ways how we eat. When you like and subscribe and share, repost and tweet, man. And Kyle's like a brother from another mother, man. So I've been knowing him from a long time, man. He young, y'all see, but he an OG in this game, really. Been in the game almost long as me. He's an OG, so appreciate y'all watching, man. Watching this catch-up podcast of basketball, man. Till next time, man. Peace.